Hi everyone, and a cozy welcome to my new YouTube channel, Emma's Bookish Brew. I am Emma, and in this channel we will be talking about cozy reading, slow reading, and the art and craft of taking your own time when reading your favorite titles. So without further ado, for this first video, I wanted to talk to you about the first book that I've read in 2025. It is a romantic fantasy. It is seasoned with a lot of mystery and secrets and a brewing revolution. If you haven't guessed the title yet, it is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. We will be talking through and through about the book. Is it a spicy read? Would I recommend it to my book besties? And does it live up to the hype? Let's find out. Spark of the Everflame is the first title in the Kindred's Curse saga. I think we have 4 books so far. I'm not sure if it's a completed series or not. So if you know, maybe you want to give us a hint down below. I have to say, although I approached it thinking it would be just another one of those romantic fantasy reads, I found myself changing my mind throughout the book. I would actually classify it as a fantasy, just seasoned with a little bit of romance, but it's not heavy on the romance plot, at least in the first book. I'm also 60% through the second book, and I can assure you it does have a little bit more romantic, intense scenes, but it's nothing super spicy yet. Spark of the Everflame is the story of Dain Aetos, a 20-year-old human healer who lives in the marshes with their family among the humans. In her world, the rulers are the descended. You can think of them as demigods who can wield magic and who think themselves to be a lot better than the humans. So they segregate them in the poorest parts of the realm and they treat them very badly. You can already sense one of the undertones of this book, that is social injustices, and will be delved deeper in the second book of the series. But going back to Spark of the Everflame, the story begins when Dain's mother abruptly disappears, leaving no traces, right after Dain sees her arguing with a descended. And can I say a very charming one? So as Dain tries to figure out what happened, she finds herself entangled in quite a few secrets, a brewing revolution, and she needs to find out where is her place in this world she's living in. What drew me to this book is definitely the subplot of a brewing revolution, social injustices, political place, and this complex world that I found very interesting from the bat. However, I want to tell you the first book is definitely character driven. Dain is our female main character, and soon enough another male lead makes an appearance. I honestly had heard a lot about the male lead, Luther, and I'm quite fond of him. I will say that. And I'm only referring to book 1 because I don't want to make any spoilers for book 2, but I think you might like him if you like the brooding, mysterious, powerful guy that falls first and would do anything to protect the girl he loves. Or the woman he loves. Now, moving into 3 elements that I definitely loved about the story. I've already talked a little bit about the mysteries, secrets. This is a recurring theme, and I loved that not all secrets are spilled at once. So you are constantly trying to figure out what is going to happen, what happened to Dain's mother, who was she really besides, this nurturing mother who took care of her daughter, and what other people are keeping from Dain. This can get frustrating at times because she doesn't know quite literally anything about her life really and the people that surround her, besides the fact that she's really loved by her family, which is the second thing I really loved about the book. So you can see clearly a lot of family dynamics, which I really appreciated because a lot of romantic books are actually focused on the element of the found family. But in Dain's story, her mom, her dad, her brother really play a crucial role in who she is and what she does and the choices she makes for herself, but also for them. Which brings us to the third favorite element of mine from Spark of the Everflame, which is Dain's struggle to find herself, to truly find who she is besides the healer that her mom prompted her to be. She's led her life in a very protected manner, far away from the descended, and she's a healer. She's been exposed to a lot of trauma and pain and wounds of all types, even emotional ones. But at the same time, there is a lot that she doesn't know about herself and those people that are close by her, and she essentially is trying to figure out, she's in her 20s, remember, so she's just like one of us. This is what I really loved about her. She's just trying to figure out if she truly loves her job, if it's truly a decision that she took by herself, or if maybe that's the path she went down through just because other people, aka her family, told her that was who she was. Now, 3 things that I didn't particularly love are, there were a few typos. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this book was self-published. This is not like an excuse for sloppy work, but I believe this book was actually well written besides these few typos throughout the story. So I would say besides that, I quite enjoyed the writing. Another thing is the love triangles. I'm not a huge lover of love triangles. I think I've had enough with the Twilight series when I was younger, and there is a little bit of a love triangle here in TM's story. I cannot say more because, you know, I'm technically not supposed to know what's happening in book 2. So if you love love triangles, then go for it. If you don't, maybe it's a good thing you know from the start where this is starting off. And the third thing I didn't love is actually a character. His name is Henry. He's DM's childhood best friend who has turned into her lover. Honestly, I found him really annoying. At times I also found DM annoying. But I have to say, I think he doesn't truly love DM and he's not a great character and I really don't like him. That's my personal opinion. Maybe you like him. But I fear, if you've read Fourth Wing, I fear this is a Dain situation. Or if you're a lover of the Hunger Games saga, the other guy, not Pita, we love Pita, but the other guy, whose name I now cannot recall. Sorry about that. Overall, the characters were really a highlight. And again, I don't want to sound repetitive, but I really loved witnessing how DM's character was outlined first as, I wouldn't say a flat character, but she was very characterized by her job. She truly identified in what she did as a healer. And I loved to see her take the reins of the situation and really look back and look within and pose herself these questions like, who am I? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Is this the right path for me? So that, I think, added a good nuance to her character. I also loved the mystery about her mother and dad as well. Her brother is just the cutest, a 16-year-old boy who falls in love with a certain other character and their story is just too cute. So I think you'll love him, and Luther. But there's a lot of good characters that weave into TM's story, slowly but surely. I also have to say, because of all of these secrets and mystery, the plot really kept me engaged. The story isn't too long on its own. Spark of the Everflame, I believe, is around 400 pages. The second book is 600 pages-ish. So for the first book, it really kept me going, kept me reading. I read it in 5 days, and I'm not saying this to give you a way to assess your own reading. I'm always very careful about this because I think I am a slow reader, and for me 5 days is very, very fast. I will also say I was on holiday, so it probably would take me a lot longer if I started the book now, but overall I think it's quite fast-paced and I really enjoyed that. Now, a moment to praise the themes of the book. Besides the self-discovery journey that DM goes through in Spark of the Everflame, we have a lot of political tension, the themes of social injustices, of brotherhood and loyalty, and finding your own path and maybe forging your own path as well, and finding your strength in who you are, despite the flaws that you might have. Naturally, we all have flaws. So for example, DM from now and then took some really poor, I would argue even dumb decisions, but overall she never loses confidence in herself despite all the doubts, and I think that was really inspiring. As a 26-year-old myself, I really appreciated it. So thank you, Penn Cole, for writing such a beautiful story. Now here are 3 of my favorite quotes from the book. I could not leave you hanging on the quotes. "No commentary?" he asked, sinking to his knees. "I'm disappointed. I'm too busy enjoying the view." I mean, we love a good "he kneels to her" scene. Honestly, who doesn't? Second quote, "Henry was as handsome to me as any man in the city, not in spite of those traits, but because of them. Those small idiosyncrasies between his body were signs of his life and character, a map of his soul that only those who truly knew him could read." Last but not least, let me die with a taste of you on my lips. Yes, he did say that. I believe I don't need to add anything else to these quotes. You should definitely read the book. Which brings us to my rating and whether I would recommend it. Of course, I would. I would recommend it to people who love character-driven books, a good romance subplot, and who resonate with TM's story, as I said, and with the themes that are weaved quite skillfully into the first book, Spark of the Everflame. I was about to give the book a solid 3 stars. However, it did make me cry, and you don't know yet, but you'll know after this first video. When a book makes me cry, it means I really enjoyed it. I love books that make me feel deep emotions. So I eventually set on giving it 4 stars. Now, before picking up this book, you definitely need to know some trigger warnings, and specifically violence, blood, and war. Besides these quite heavier themes, I believe the book is quite enjoyable, and I think it's the perfect pick for a cozy read during the winter time, maybe with a cup of coffee or a herbal blend, even just some hot cocoa, why not? Now I'm super curious to hear from you. So have you read Spark of the Everflame or the whole Kindred's Curse saga? If so, let me know in the comments below whether you loved it or maybe it's not your thing. Let's keep the conversation going. You will find me back here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central European Time with new book recommendations, book reviews, and book-inspired herbal blends for your cozy reading sessions. So I will see you soon. Enjoy your reading.